isn't it about time that individual referees or someone representing them came out, after matches and explained decisions? I remember Mark saying about that happens in the USA. There's a whole program, I think he said, dedicated.
Yeah, I mean, they've carefully tried to control this. The Premier League and the PGMOL, is the Professional Game Match Officials Limited. Now, I maintain that the biggest scandal in this country, in many ways, in refereeing, is that it is controlled and paid for by the Premier League.
Yes.
In no other country do you have the National League controlling refereeing at the highest level. It's done by the federation. Now, the Football Association can't afford the programme of professional referees, so therefore the Premier League pay for it. But nobody seems to pick up that there could be a conflict of interest here, that they get the kind of football they want that suits an overseas audience, rather than games being refereed in the way perhaps they might be in the Champions League, for example. So there is a kind of dilemma there. I think it's a difficult situation for referees. There is this move for them to come out and explain decisions afterwards. Often, though, as Mark pointed out in the book, he came out once after a game at Fulham and tried to explain a decision why he changed his mind, and all he got was vilification in the papers for being a weak referee that had changed his mind. So therefore he said to himself, right, that's it, I'm never going to explain again. Either way, he couldn't have won. If he shuts up, he gets criticism. If he comes out and explains it, they'll his quotes are then, as you well know, will be poured over on message boards, on radio phone-ins, in the papers the next day. So he couldn't win. The PGMOL and the Premier League have kind of bowed to the new television that wants to get into refereeing by employing refereeing pundits now. Right. At first it was Mark, but because he was so outspoken, the Premier League didn't like that, so he gets taken off air. Then it's Howard Webb, whose comments are always very banal. Measured.
Oh,
okay.
You said banal. I don't know. No, you see him more than I do.
You're rather more kind than I am.
Okay, banal. I don't see him enough to comment.
Yeah, so. they're kind of they're measured, yes, but clearly he's funded by the PGMOL, so he didn't want to say too much. But then even that was not exploited a lot last season. They didn't use him that much.
Keith Hackett isn't holding back on with Alan
Keith
Biggs
Hackett,
on You Are the Ref, which
absolutely.
You've appeared on. I know.
I haven't appeared on it, but I've always been a great backer of theirs. Mark Halsey does it with Keith Hackett.
Yeah.
Keith Hackett is one of the sanest and most incisive voices about refereeing in this country.
And he was one of the best refs in those.
One of the best refs, one of the best heads of refereeing as well.
And he's calling it, I think, with Alan Biggs on youartheref.com or whatever. He's calling it as he sees it. He's calling
absolutely
it
right, and that's what the public want.
Yes,
they don't want all this flannel about explaining why this happened and covering up or whatever. They want straight talking. Yeah. It's the least they deserve for the money that they pay into the game. People seem to forget this. How much money fans put into the game. Gate receipts these days are almost the least of it, but they're still a substantial amount. It's not just that, it's all the merchandise they buy, it's all the subscriptions to the channels they make. This is if they suddenly stop paying for the subscriptions, then people would notice.
I think 71, Bill Shankly said the trouble with refs is that they know the rules but not the game. Is that still the case, or surely refs are better now?
I think what's happening is you can't have it every way. People say refs need to be consistent, but they need to show common sense. They're not always the same thing, though. Those things, if you're going to be consistent, you're almost not showing common sense. You've got to react in the same way. But then again, Mark Halsey was a good referee because he was a great game manager. He knew how to diffuse situations. He knew how to get on with players. He knew how to make games flow. And sometimes he wasn't the most popular ref at the PGML because of that. Right. There were sticklers there that wanted the game refed a certain way. More and more young referees are going into it now, not at the end of their playing careers, in local football, I mean, to get on very quickly. They're going into it at the age of 15, 16, 17.
Right.
So by the time they're 30, they can be Football League referees, even Premier League referees. And that's what they want, because they're fitter.
Right.
They're quicker.
Yeah.
And that's what they want these days. So they're inevitably not going to have played the game the way they used to in the days when people went in.
But we watched football in the 60s, 70s, 80s, etc. You and I. I recall the many years of debate over we need professional referees. Mm-hmm. We must have everything would be wonderful if only we had professional referees. Since the days of company director Roger Kirkpatrick, Mr. Pickwick,
Ray Lewis from Great Bookham,
school teacher or headmaster David Ellery, have things improved for professional referees?
I have to say, Vern, I watch Premier League football on TV, and I watch assistant referees, and I watch referees, and I am constantly amazed at the pace of the game, how much they get right.
Yes.
Particularly in offside decisions, which can bamboozle you. If you stood there with a flag, and the quickness of players these days as they cross, you'd put your flag up because they all look offside. But it's amazing with all the TV replays that they get so many right.
Because it is much faster than the days of Roger Kirkpatrick running backwards.
Absolutely, it is quick, and I think it has improved. Undoubtedly, it's improved. The problem is obviously the scrutiny on them, every TV angle, every replay. Don't forget they're seeing the game from one angle. They're not seeing it from 6 different perspectives. I think it's immeasurably better. I grew up on the terraces in the 70s, and we could be as nostalgic as we like, but I don't think the referees were any more popular then than they are now.
No, less so.
My favourite quote about referees, since you quote Shanky, is by an American basketball coach. So the trouble with referees is they just don't care who wins.